We'll update him for the proceedings. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SAAG. Welcome back from lunch. My name is Roman Danilio.
And I'm Ben Kaduk, and we should try to not be throwing things and hitting each other. So we got the blue sheets going around, and Roman already got us the Jabber Scribe and the Minute Taker, so we will get started. This is Note Well. Please note it well if you have not already noted it well. Not too much on the agenda today, just the usual working group reports and then the open mic. So.
The slides we have are made as of 1:19 this afternoon, so 11 minutes ago. So if you have sent something in the last 11 minutes, it will not be reflected in these slides.
All right, so Ace, I guess we should just page through these slowly, and if someone has further comments that they want to mention, we can just bring those up to the mic. Lamps.
Do we get a report for lamps?
So my co-chair said he would send this, so I'm surprised. The group is moving along pretty quickly. We have, I think, 3 or 4 documents with the ISG right now. We have a recharter that should be on the next telechat. If that happens, then we have a whole bunch of work that'll be up for adoption.
Anything exciting going on for MLS? Or we'll just see you on Friday?
Anything to say about the first meeting of OAuth?
It happened.
It happened, okay. So I can add in OAuth, we had the related TX auth, which we're going to talk about, and then there's been talk about something dubbed OAuth 2.1. Anything happen in TLS before lunch?
Yeah, there were some presentations on some ongoing working group documents, delegated credentials, export authenticators, and then we had some new work on batch signing, compact TLS, and semi-static Diffie-Hellman. And I just sent the report like 30 seconds ago. So, and then we're going to be talking about ESNI later today. So,
yeah, we had a lot of talk about external PSKs as well.
Oh yes, thank you.
So we had 2 BOFs in the security area. We had Math Mesh, and we also had TX auth. So if folks want to say anything relative to the Math Mesh BOF, the kind of the summary was we heard about a broad area of technologies. We heard about one particular application domain. There was not a lot of excitement about that particular application domain, but we talked about others, and there was interest in following up on some of the specific kind of technology issues, and that was the next step coming out of that BOF. So TX auth, do the chairs want to say anything since there was no report?
We actually did send out a report, but anyway, so we had a presentation of an OAuth-like protocol, which is not backward compatible with OAuth 2 and addresses a few more use cases and has a different flow than today's OAuth 2. There was agreement overall across the room about the problems. There's no agreement on a way forward yet, as you mentioned, there's discussion at the same time about an auth 2 rewrite, tentatively named 2.1, as well as this auth 3, and this is being hashed out as we speak.
So I think there are also maybe a few side meetings in this general space. Did anyone go to those? That is here.
Ludwig Seitz. I was at a OAuth side meeting that mostly discussed OAuth 2.1 or continued the discussion of OAuth 2.1 from the first OAuth meeting.
Was it mostly just discussion, or any good conclusions that were reached?
Well, someone volunteered to do some work, but I can't recall the name right now. Aaron, I could be, but I'll let him confirm that.
Hopefully they remember that they signed up to do the work.
Okay, so there is a lot of other security work that's happening across the IETF. We have a scatter shot of some of them both in the working groups and in the IRTF, in the IAB, and through liaison activities. So if anyone wants to come up to the mic now to describe some of that, please do. We welcome you. Want to talk, Anima?
So I guess when we were making the slides, I put Anima up here. They've got some security related work going on. They're talking about like the autonomic network infrastructure and the security protocol and secure communications mesh for that. And so they want to use X509 certificates to authenticate all the nodes in this sort of autonomic network. And I've been having a little bit of a back and forth with the authors about how exactly they're going to use the X509 certificates, because they have some information that they want to put in the RFC 822 name field of the certificate. And I'm having a hard time convincing myself that this is like within the spirit of X509. So I think I've talked to a few people in person about this, but they've got, in addition to like the IP address in string form, they have the sort of name of the ACP domain in the domain part of the 822 name, but then there's some other stuff as well, including like an arbitrary subdomain name and a hole for more extensions. And it's a little bit weird to be constructing your own structured name within the constraints of the 822 name, at least to me. So anybody who is interested in thinking about this a bit more, I'd be happy to talk to you at some point, not necessarily now, and get an actual resolution for them, because I don't want to keep holding on discuss forever. If you're for the open mic, or
yeah. So you asked about possible stuff in the security area. So the UTA working group hasn't met for a while, and there is like the old stuff to clear up. But we had a couple of us had a discussion in a break whether it's time to do a BCP on deployment experience from 1.3, or if it's too soon. Is there stuff that should get out there in terms of like the kind of stuff that we put in the BCP for 1.2? So that's an open question for the community.
Yeah, I think I'd started talking to the TLS chairs a little bit about that, and there's maybe some work to do in the space about updating our recommendations, like the BCP 210, 195. I don't remember, the RFC 7525 to include TLS 1.3 in those recommendations. But I think Chris and Joe and Sean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we decided that maybe we would wait a little bit more to get a little bit more deployment experience, maybe some more specifically experience with 0RTT before we start doing that sort of thing.
Right, that was going to be my follow-up question, whether that's going to be the focus. Maybe it will be, right? But anyway, I guess the working group will hibernate for a while and see if something else turns up. I don't think so, but I think
we'll wait for you guys to tell us when it's time to wake up and do some work.
Okay, or we could like close and recharter it depending on what works better. Yeah.
Bob Moskowitz, HG Consulting. You have TMRID up there. The decision seems to be to move forward to a working group for TMRD. We're now working on the scope of the charter. Of interest to the SAAG group would be draft Whitaker, TMRD, auth, and Adam has an interesting spelling of Whitaker, so I suggest you look at the BOF information to get the proper spelling to find the draft. The reason I mention it is that one of the things that we have to struggle with is authenticating these really short messages previously sent, which we hash and then include the hashes in the auth message, which is then signed. So discussion on what we have created there, the first set of thoughts we have on that. We're really open to other ideas and thoughts of working in this extremely constrained environment and how to authenticate 25-byte messages and to prove the owner of which actual UA sent those messages by hashing them and including them in the much longer auth message. So a bunch of other eyes on that draft are greatly appreciated. The draft is really rough right now, but really appreciate assistance on that one.
All right. And Bob, do you want to maybe send that to the email list as well?
I will send that to the SAAG list, yes.
Just a quick note, since you do have NTP up there, we did submit NTS to the IESG, so hopefully that's almost done. And we have adopted 2 additional drafts that are related to security, one on rough time and one on Chronos. So those are security-related items that are going on in the NTP working group.
Thank you. So I also put up there the IAB NOP program, so just IAB activity for the threat model discussion. I know Stephen or Yari, do you want to say anything about that?
Yari needs to speed up.
Yariak. So there's been some amount of activity on that. Stephen and I merged our draft. We're still working on through the other feedback that we've gotten. And at this IETF, we had a side meeting. 22 people attended, and it seemed like there was quite a bit of interest and some set of people willing to contribute different aspects of the topic. And so we're cranking away, I think. And I guess the overall plan is that we will provide some documentation and rationale for why are we in this situation. Essentially, I guess because we've made some progress in terms of communication security, and now some of the threats that we have to worry about are the remaining ones, and that's why the focus has changed. And in addition to this sort of supporting documentation, we'd like to get sort of one pager that is, this is how we would like to change RC 3552. It's at least my interpretation of the situation, but work continues.
Yeah, I think that was my interpretation as well, that we'd, if everything goes well, end up with like a one-page update to 3552 for the broadened scope of things that we have to think about because we've been doing so well encrypting everything.
Okay, other security updates from other working groups inside and outside the IETF? Going once? Twice? Okay, so with that, we're going to open up the mic line. Is there anything someone would like to talk about? We could have had a longer lunch, I guess. All right, well, we're not going to wait for them. Okay, going once, going twice. Anyone want to come up to the mic? All right, in that case, we're going to call it. Thanks so much.
And where are the blue sheets? If you have the blue sheets, please hold them up. I see 2 clipboards. Excellent. If you have not signed the blue sheets, please find the people with the blue sheets or come up to the front.
Sorry? Oh, wow.